this?
Advanced headlight technologies for greater visibility. And zero-gravity seats that reduce fatigue. Yeah, that would be cool. Introducing the completely reimagined Nissan Altima. With best-in-class 38 mpg highway and better acceleration than Camry and Accord. It's our most innovative Altima ever. Nissan. Innovation that excites.
Shift. If I were to just spend a few more hours dissecting just this one commercial, this is only the second time I've seen it, and I already picked out new things. The fact we have shift at the end, which is, everybody knows, a paradigm shift. This is what Marilyn Ferguson talks about. This is what Rick Warren is all about. This is what the whole New Age movement is all about. It's about a paradigm shift. It's a complete different way of thinking. A new humanity is what it is. They're not just selling you a car. They're trying to get you to imagine you being a god. That's what the devil did with Eve. He was planting imaginations in her. He was suggesting things to her that she probably had never thought of before. That's the whole point behind cartoons and commercials and videos, music videos, movies that we're seeing right now. It's to implant these ideas into us, things that we probably have never thought of before. But here is Eve, and left alone in the Garden of Eden, she never thinks to even eat of the fruit of that tree because her husband told her not to. She doesn't even think of it. But then she has an alternative here now given to her. Now think about this, Eve. What if this thing wouldn't kill you? What if you wouldn't surely die? What if God knows something that you don't know, that he's not going to tell you about this? It's some big secret. What if? And so now her brain, the right side of her brain is drawing a picture of what it's going to look like, feel like, how it's going to be when she eats this fruit. That's the nature of lust, by the way. It's all in the imaginations. When you look at a picture of someone, dressed, undressed, partially clothed, doesn't matter. When you look at that picture and you linger with that, your mind is taken over and you're imagining what it would be like to be with somebody like that. I mean, that's just how it works. And so this commercial is not just selling you a car. They're selling you an idea to bring you into a new world order. Something that I got from this, watching it just now, was the set of keys materialized, and they fell from up here. They fell. And that's Revelation chapter 9. The star falls from heaven, and it's got the key that's going to open this up and release this. And you notice that the car was inside of this little garage, and once he had the key in his hand, he takes off, and it's released out there into the world. This is what it's selling you. And you say, well, how many people are going to sit and analyze this? Well, see, that's the point right there. If you analyze it, your logical brain can say, you know what, I don't want that. It's not meant to be analyzed. It's meant to be here in a subliminal process of your brain. Anyway, let's see here. What else is going on in the world? Berlin Gay Pride Parade draws 700,000, and the article calls them people. I don't think so. Camp costumes and colorful drag flooded the streets of Berlin on Saturday. By the way, those of you who live in different areas of the world, did your area have a gay pride parade? We had one in St. Louis. I say we. I didn't go. They had one in St. Louis, and I noticed that the mayor of St. Louis, a Democrat, waving to every. I don't think he's gay, but he's going to be on their side now on this. Did they have one in? They had one in. Jill is saying they had one in Bournemouth and in Amsterdam. I'm seeing in other places. It must have been the weekend, and there's been some suggestion that it correlates with the summer solstice on June 21st, the beginning of summer, which there's some information about the summer solstice that I'm going to be including. I'm working on the script for the next Watchman video broadcast, and so you pray about that. It's not done yet, but I've got random pieces that I need to make stick together now. But anyway, I think there was a lot of gay pride, and that's interesting. If you go back and look in fact, let's open up our can here, okay? Hopefully, it hasn't been a week since you opened up a can, okay? Don't count on me to be your can opener. Ezekiel, chapter chapter 16. Ezekiel chapter 16. I'm just going off the top of my head here. Doesn't it say in here what the sin of Sodom is? Okay, here it is. In Ezekiel 16:49, behold, this was the iniquity of thy sister Sodom, pride. So you stop and think about this. They call them gay pride parades. Pride, fullness of bread, and abundance of idleness was in her. And, by the way, I'm going to throw you out a little idea. The nanny state of any government, whether it's United States of America, Great Britain, Holland, Germany, France, Greece, Spain, Soviet Union, China, it doesn't matter. The nanny state, and what do I mean by that? I mean the government throwing money at the people, rich people's money, or the working man's money at people to sit and do nothing all day long. You stop and think about what the sin of Sodom was. Number one, pride. Number two, fullness of bread. And number three, abundance of idleness. So you kind of get the idea here that welfare programs, government bailout programs, governments, there are school districts, I think one in particular in New York, where there is this gigantic room full of teachers. They report to work every day. They go in this lounge room and they sit all day long on computers, and then they go home at the end of the day. Why? Because their tenured union rules will not allow them to be laid off, but the school doesn't have a job for them, so they sit in there and they sit all day long collecting money. That is the ability to have fullness of bread and yet an abundance of idleness. And those things there, the nanny state is creating Sodom, is what it is. But the main sin of Sodom was pride. And so here we have the gay pride parades. The article again says, camp costumes and colorful drag flooded. I like that term. I think that's a good term, as it was in the days of Noah. The streets of Berlin on Saturday as hundreds of thousands took part in the city's annual Christopher Street Day Gay Pride Parade, marching and dancing to thumping techno music. The crowds made their way from the cosmopolitan Kreuzberg district to the Brandenburg Gate, where DJs and musicians were scheduled to keep the party going until midnight. The German capital's gay mayor, Klaus Waberweit, kicked off the event. Organizers said 700,000 people had taken part in the parade, which celebrated its 34th anniversary this year. The treatment of homosexuals in Russia was a hot topic at the parade, with some participants bearing giant portraits of President Vladimir Putin and Prime Minister Dmitry Medvedev, retouched in the flamboyant style of gay French artist Pierre Gillet. Gay pride parades are banned in Moscow, and since 2006 have been systematically dispersed when organizers try to start them. Can I say this? Homosexuality is actually still against the law in Kenya. We went there, and it's still against the law there. And there was something going on when we left, and it had to do with a change in the Kenya Constitution. And one of the things that I heard while I was over there is that the Obama administration was heavily pressuring the government of Kenya, which is where he's from, by the way, the government of Kenya to relax or eliminate its laws against sodomy. They see, we're Americans, and we want the whole world to be like us. We want them to be queer. That's what we want. But that's what's going on. And I think it's interesting that they're having these parades simultaneously all over the world, and they seem to be centered around the summer solstice. What else is going on here? New movie is out. WorldNet Daily is reporting. Several of you sent me emails on this. Jesus is a product of Mary being raped. A new Hollywood film in the works that some are already calling blasphemous will portray Jesus as the product of his mother Mary being raped by a Roman soldier and show that miracles mentioned in the New Testament were not real. Paul Verhoeven, who directed previous hits including RoboCop, Total Recall, and Bass and It Stinks, is basing the movie on his 2008 book, Jesus of Nazareth. According to Deadline.com, Verhoeven's take on the life of Jesus discounts all the miracles mentioned in Scripture, including the virgin birth and the resurrection, as Verhoeven doesn't believe any of them actually took place. Perhaps the most controversial of Verhoeven's notions is that Jesus might have been the product of his mother being raped by a Roman soldier, which Verhoeven said was commonplace at the time, and that Jesus was a radical prophet who performed exorcisms and was convinced he would find the kingdom of heaven on earth, and did not know that he would be sentenced to die on the cross by Pontius Pilate. Deadline reporting. And you know what? Let me just... Jesus already addressed this. We have the story of the rich man. Oh yeah, that's right. It's from the Bible, so it's probably not true, according to this director. But we have the story of the rich man, and he went to hell, and he was conscious of being in hell, and he was in torments being in hell, and he begged Abraham. He said, Father Abraham, do me this. Would you send Lazarus back from the dead? Because I've got brothers that need to be warned, and if Lazarus came back from the dead, they would go, oh, and they would believe him. And Abraham said, they have Moses and the prophets. And even though one comes back from the dead, they still won't believe him. And I read that one time and I went, I get it. Because Jesus actually rose from the dead, remember? And he actually was there. And he rose from the dead, and they still don't believe him. It's written plainly in the scriptures, and they still don't believe him. And so I just know what God says in Jeremiah. He said, Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord's hands. And I can clearly see, if you look at the story where there was the prophets of Ahab were telling him, oh yeah, Ahab, you got this one in the bag. You're going to win this battle, and you're going to be the victorious king. Woohoo, Ahab, go Ahab. And one of the prophets of God stood up and he said, let me tell you what I saw. I saw God saying, who can go be a lying spirit in the mouth of the prophets? And I'll do it, I'll do it. And this is a situation where this, by the way, let's see. Oh, no, I'm wrong here. I'm reading something else. This is a situation where God is actually releasing a film. God is actually releasing a lying spirit to people. It's just like when the Da Vinci Code came out, and I read the Da Vinci Code and I'm going, I get it. I get it.